Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
The hell is that face?
Hi, you've got to listen to ICAR, that's International Community for Alien Research, www.icar1.com. I should know, I'm Irish.
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation. I have come, all losing my control.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of UFO Undercover. I'm your host, Joe Montaldo. I hope everyone's having a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, wherever you are on our big planet. Oh, welcome, guys. Hopefully, really, for the most part, the planet's pretty peaceful. I mean, it's got some issues here and there, but for 8.5 billion of us, I mean, come on. I mean, what can you expect? It's not like we're all well raised. Well, it's not like we're all well-raised children or anything. Some of us were bad children, so you can't expect us to be all good. But really, 8 billion, I think we're doing pretty good. What wars are going on right now? Is there any wars going on? Oh yeah, the Ukrainian war. Okay, so there's one. There's been a couple times on the planet since I've been alive. There's been no wars. It's kind of weird, actually. If the U.S. could behave itself, we could have went without a war from Vietnam until all the way till now. But no. People got to blow up the Twin Towers, so we got to go blow up their country. It's like, we can't help ourselves. It's like a friend of mine always tells me. He said, Joe, we just like to blow shit up. He said, they should just give us a continent and let us blow shit up. We'd probably be happy. It's like, yeah, okay. Maybe we'll blow some UFOs up. Who knows? Anyway, we have Michael with us tonight. Michael, how you doing tonight, man?
Good, Joe, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
I guess we should give him your full name, Michael James Walker. He's going to talk a little bit about things he's had going on in his life in a little bit. So you've been following this disclosure?
Not as much as, everyone would think a fellow experiencer would. I like to kind of stay grounded with it all. And yeah, I got to.
My problem is I don't find that it's really disclosing anything. I mean, if they were disclosing something, I'd be like, oh, yeah. But this is more like, let's blow some smoke up everybody's ass and maybe make some money on it. But I haven't seen, I've been in this field 43 years. I haven't seen anything come out of the Pentagon or White House that I would consider earth-shattering. Or even, matter of fact, the only thing that I really consider earth-shattering is the government actually admits there's something flying around the sky that doesn't belong to us.
That's it. That's the most disclosure I've seen as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, which, most of us, how can I say this politely, already knew that. So I'm just waiting for something. Something that actually just discloses. That's actually a real disclosure. Oh, I see Jay down there. Well, Jay, he knows how to get it. Why am I not on? What happened? I keep getting myself turned off there. Hey, Jay, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Jay?
Michael J. Michael. I don't know if you've ever met before. It's
Nice to meet
No,
you.
we haven't.
Yeah, Michael's here to talk about it. Was that Christopher? Stephen was slated to be here with us tonight, but he is at the Disclosure Forum in D.C. tonight. Yeah, well, Michelle told me about it earlier, but Stephen sent me a letter to where he was going to be at, so we wanted to pick it up or something. I thought about playing it, but I knew we had Michael coming on, so I didn't want to do it. But I was a little worried about Michael because somehow or another, my email just missed. I had like a whole section of email just disappeared. I was like, I don't know what it bothered me. So I ran all kind of security just to make sure nothing was wrong. I even ran security on the router just to make sure there was nothing.
And that same must have gotten backed up on your emails. They haven't been able to read them all fast enough.
What that was, man, it irritates. Oh, speaking of that, so I don't think I should say this aloud. So I've been doing some stuff and I'm tracking down my DD-14 for the Navy, right? And I just want a copy of it. So I'm going through this site and it's showing me all my stuff in my life and all kind of stuff. It's one of the sites that finds everything you can find about you. Guess what? It comes up. You're on Interpol, FBI, CIA, and I forgot the other one's watch
You
list.
made Interpol. Wow.
I made the watch list on all four of them. I was like, really? I was like, what the hell did I do to get on a watch list? So I was telling Linda about it. So then I got a friend of mine pull a copy of it for me. So they got me on a list. They got Icon on the list. They've got all kind of friends and associates, including people outside of my circle in the field. And then they got little footnotes. And they still got that stupid footnote. I'm reading it. How did it say it? Allegedly still in charge of all military abductions inside the USA. I'm like, really?
Yeah, you're in charge.
Give me the paycheck. You know what? I'll do it. Just give me the paycheck. I mean, come on. I don't mind. Look, I'll order Michael to be probed. I got no problem with that. Mike's like, whoa, wait a minute, leave me out of this.
If you're gonna get to blame for it, you might as well pay you to do it, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm like, and then there was a couple of little footnotes about other things we're involved in, but it didn't say like it didn't have us like a threat. They had us as a watch list for contact, meaning that watching us may lead them to some type of contact. Because there were several footnotes about beings being seen when certain members were present at certain locations. It's a cool read. I tried to post it to the web. Every time I do it, dissolves. It's pissing me off. So I'm going to try to print it. I tried printing it yesterday. It wouldn't do it. It dissolved. So I did a picture of it with phone so I could take it, put it on another computer. Nope. It was like some silver. I've never seen anything like this. I couldn't do it off the computer. It's kind of weird, Jay. To be honest with you, dude, it's a little on the. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of something they do, but it's just a little bit odd. I don't know what to think about it, but so anyway, getting back to Michael, we can talk about that later on. But how you doing, man? I mean, what was it? So you look like you're a nice, guy, like 28 or something.
Thank you.
and anyway, it's a G. Anyway, G. It's anyway. So somewhere in your life, you had to realize, you had to be going through life and go, what the bleep is going on in my life? Because when people see things or are involved in things, and I mean, there's a realm of contact experiences, but it's always like, first, it's kind of like a dream or damn it, like seeing something out of the corner of my eye. I don't know why I couldn't spit that out. And then all of a sudden, it's reality. So, I mean, what was it that set you off? I mean, there had to be something that made you go, okay.
Oh, man. Yeah. It was something very dramatic, and I didn't stick with it very long before I let it go. I let it slip through my hands because it was just too much. No one believed me, and I got jaded, and I just decided to, flow right back into the social programming. It was just much easier to just keep going with the flow, instead of trying to convince the world that, I had this crazy experience when I was 12. And then I came a point where I was like, no, wait a minute, man, let me get back on this, because I always caught myself reflecting on that moment. Whenever I got stressed out or things got hectic, I would always reflect on that moment and realize, there's definitely more to life than meets the eye. And the internet came out, and I started joining UFO groups, and I started finding commonalities within other experiencers, and I was like, no, this is real, and this is awesome. It was 1985 when I had my mind-blowing experience, and I'd love to share it with you. Thanks for the opportunity, brother.
Oh, yeah. Well, where was I? Oh, I was somewhere in the Navy, sailing around doing stuff. Oh, where was I?
85. I was just out of high school and probably starting in my career in college.
Yeah, it's funny. Anything classified in my head, I try to block out so I don't accidentally blurt it out somewhere. Yeah, because I've been out for so long, you forget, hey, I'm not in the service anymore, screw them. And then you get sanctioned. They come over to your house or something. Like, why'd you say that? I mean, what did I say? What? Why'd you, like, I was on Stephen Bissett's radio show when they were talking about something that happened. And I said, the USS Nimitz top speed is such and such. He got all paranoid. So I said, well, they get ready to decommission it. It doesn't matter. Well, I got sanctioned today. I got a whole phone call. They said, you want to lose your clearance? Don't talk about time. I said, putting the thing in the scrap. He said, well, no, they changed. He said, no, they changed their mind. They're going to wait a little while. I'm like, what? I said, I should have posted that on the web to somebody ahead of time.
Well, they knew Tehran was going to happen before anybody else did. So they.
Yeah. And that's like in that stupid thing about us being on a watch list. It's got interaction with strange beings, but also interaction with the French and British police. And they called them by name. They called the French, which is gendarme. I never pronounce it correctly, but it's
gendarme.
Yes, and I was like, okay, which I've heard about military abductions where they crisscross countries, where sometimes there are Americans abducting people in other countries, and sometimes there's other countries abducting people in Europe. It's creepily weird. But anyway, let's get back to Mike. Y'all gotta let me not get sidetracked tonight. It's not hard to do around here. There's a lot of topic matters that cross over this show in the last 30 years. So it's 30. Damn, I shouldn't even say that, man. We do. So this show averages about 50 shows a year times 30 years. So y'all can figure out how many shows are. And Jimmy, every 10 years is what, 500 shows?
Yeah. Every 10 years.
Yeah, so I've been doing 30 years, so it's 1,500 shows just on this show. I mean, I've got more than that on Wake Up USA than all the other stuff I host, and all the shows that have been on, and all the guest spots I've done. So it's if you really wanted to, Christopher, you could listen to my crazy voice for probably 2 decades without hearing me say the same thing twice.
And that's marathoning one after the other.
One
And-
after another, yes. And it's probably longer than that, actually. It's probably closer to 30 years. But I just want to make sure I leave a legacy behind. We got 100,000 archives. That means we have more than 200,000 hours.
Some of those shows are 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours.
Yeah, some of them are 4 hours. There's a few 1 hours, but it's a lot of material. And there's no one in ufology or in the paranormal world that hasn't been on a network more than once. And not just interviewed by myself, but by other many hosts. So you get to, like when we would do Travis Walton, we would set him up and we'd put him across 5 hosts and make sure all 5 hosts were asking different questions. He loved it because he had never experienced anything like that before. He's like, Joy, but he asked me a different question. I said, they better have asked you a different question. Somebody had been in trouble, man. I said, we didn't want to put you up there. Well, I mean, we're going to put archives up for sale anyway, so we don't want you to have to listen to us repeat the same. I mean, even he gets tired. I mean, I get tired of hearing the same question asked. And, and I don't even talk about personal stuff, so I can understand when you're out there putting your head on there, Michael here in about 20 years, he'll be going, Jesus, I've answered that question like 500 times, man. Come on.
I love it. I love questions.
Oh no, it's always the best way to go is Q&A. I tell people most contactees do not mind. They don't like to get up on a podium and talk. If you don't get up on a podium and let people ask questions, don't talk on there because they got information in their head, but they don't like to correlate it when they're standing there. People, which I don't blame them. Hey, Heidi didn't even see you come in, sweet. But anyway,
she's been up there.
Yeah. I didn't have. I had the banner still.
Oh. Yeah, it was silent when I just waved at her.
Yeah, she's also she's going to be the latest one pregnant with the alien baby. I think I had a dream that she was pregnant with twin alien babies. And her pet was also pregnant with an alien.
Ooh, Post Malone, he's a boy. Poor
Hey,
kitty.
Aliens do that kind of stuff, man. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
No, Jack. What's the matter, Jay? No, we're man, I've seriously been doing this almost 44 years. Yeah, simply by accident. I don't even like to tell people that because it dates.
Simply by accident.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, I'm thinking of it this way. I'm sitting on the USS Nimitz. I'm sitting in the line shack. We're waiting to go out on the deck to start working the day. The pilots are all talking about it. Jesus Christ, the thing blew by my plane. Went, whoa. And it came back and then looked like that in front of us, like, and it took off and came underneath. You hear pilots talking about this, and you can hear the excitement and the fear in their voice at the same time. You're like, what are you talking about? Oh, dude, you should have seen this thing. He said, if we were just cruising. He said, he's talking about, he said, I'm an F-18 doing Mach 1.7. I'm cruising along. And this thing just blows. It goes so fast underneath me that my plane flipped. I almost lost control of it. He said it flipped and banked off to the right. He said, by the time I got control of it, this thing was just sitting at my nose, like laughing at me, like, what took you so long to straighten? He's like, well, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm thinking to myself, I wanted to shoot it. And I think you could tell because it kind of backed off a little bit, like it picked up my thought, like, I'm going to blow your ass up or something. And it backed off. But he said, on many occasions, they screwed with him. He said, the Foo Fighters never went away. He said, we just don't talk about them. So that was kind of like, well, that was interesting. And I heard that countless times. And then when I got out to service and I was back in the States and back at home, and I'm just going through my life, somebody would walk up and just tell me they were taken by aliens. I'm thinking, do I have something on my forehead that says, please tell me your alien story? And like my dentist.
A very cool thing, just real quick, going back to the Foo Fighters, at the end of the war, airmen from both sides in both theaters, both the Japanese theater and the European theater, airmen from both sides, enemies and Axis and allies, when they started telling those stories, were like, that happened to you too? They were like, holy cow. And they're like, we thought they were yours. We thought they were yours. You know?
Thought they were each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
so Michael, how old were you when you just kind of knew something was not quite right in your life?
Uh,
I mean,
I
out
was,
of the norm.
I was 12 years old in
Makes
'85.
sense.
That's when I had my eye-opening experience. There was things that happened before that I learned later through commonalities of other experiencers, and realized that, I had experienced them taking me earlier than that, by experiencing screen memories and things like that, things that I had chalked up to just, oh, that must have been a ghost or
Oh yeah.
residual energy. And then I realized, oh my God, no, this is a screen memory. They have been taking me before '85.
It's funny. Over the years, we've done so much research. I hate to bring these things up because it really makes other researchers angry. But we can tell you basically from the time your mom got pregnant, how many times you were taken while she was pregnant, and then being taken immediately afterwards. And then, like, it's the first year, it's like every 2 months, every 3 months, and then it starts to space out after that. And then as you get closer to puberty, it starts to pick up again, and it starts being monthly. It can get up to weekly, depending on what they're planning. So it varies from individual. But this will go on until you're about 28 or 30. Contact really starts at puberty. There's contact before that, but you're a child. So, and they treat you as such. And there's no real fear there. Well, at least I shouldn't say that bluntly, but for most children, they're not scared of the aliens for some reason. Maybe because they've known them since birth or pre-birth. Regardless, they seem to know them, so that there's not any real fear there. But all of a sudden, there is fear. When puberty starts until about 28, and puberty can, 10 to 14, depending on the person. The types of experiments they do in those times, both mentally and physically, are harsh. Now, for the most part, they don't let you remember, so it doesn't really matter. But for some reason, for some people, it leaves a residual feeling behind. And I try to explain this to people all the time. Everybody wants to say either contact's good or bad. It's not. It's all of that. It's good, it's bad, it's indifferent. It just depends what it is that they have in store for you that day. And that's going to dictate what kind of contact it's going to be.
Absolutely.
And since we know now that, these happen, and then there's a choice. Well, okay, let me rephrase this. So you hit about 31, 32, 33, they make a choice. So if you've been a contactee that for some reason you're not really scared, or you're willing to listen and work with them, or be involved, and you're not freaking out every time they bring you on board the ship, I'm going to say this, they kind of like promote you. So some contactees will become keepers. Keepers are just the people you see, like when you go on board a ship, and sometimes there's a human there while you're being worked on, or sometimes there's children there, there's a human standing with them. That's the keeper. They're there to help the contactees and the children transition through this. Sometimes you remember them, sometimes you don't. Some people remember them and make lifelong friends with them. It's very strange. And what's really even stranger is when they meet each other in person for the first time. Oh my God, it's like some kind of weird chemical thing. I don't know how to explain it. But it is weird, and it does happen. We've seen it on many occasions. So, but it lays it out what you can expect, and then once you have that part in your 30s where you're like, okay, well, I know this ain't always the best thing, but I'm going to hang out because I want to see where all this goes. Then they keep doing it, but they're going to take your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids. Doesn't really matter. There's nothing you're going to do about it. They're going to take them anyway. The only difference is if you're still in the program, then you can participate and actually kind of babysit in kind of a way. So when you're there, they'll let you be there with your daughter or your son while these things are going on. And stuff when they're young doesn't really matter. There's nothing really intrusive. But when they hit 13 up, there's some seriously intrusive shit goes on. And, removing a body limb, stressing the mind until it wants to snap. It's almost like they want to, it's almost like they're looking for something in the individual human. Like they're stressing us to a point where something else is going to come out other than us. Like there's somebody, like Jay's got a double soul or some shit.
Yeah.
And the other side's just going to pop out with it. I don't know. But anyway, enough about all that. So for you, it's got to be just, at 12, so you're doing this. So you must not have been totally overwrought with fear at 12. I mean, how are you dealing with it?
Not at all. Yeah, I've got nothing but positivity out of it, really. I know that there's some negative experiences out there, but I've got nothing but good, positive messages. And it may just very well be what I'm doing with it. You know, your mind does amazing things, and my mind decided to go positive with it. But yeah, I don't have any. A lot of it is, like you said, locked away in my subconscious. And yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions out there when you say that you were abducted and you have missing time. You know, they automatically think that, you know, I've got this memory, all this memory retained of being sucked up into the ship, you know, through the light and being laid out on a cold metal table and, you know, being probed and all that. You know, it's just a huge misconception from all the movies and stuff, you know, that we've grown up watching. Unfortunately, a lot of it is locked in our subconscious, and we're left with a lifetime of putting puzzle pieces together. And that's basically what I did. It took me a long time to be brave enough to call it what it really was. You know, it was way more than just a UFO experience. I was taken, and I have missing time. I was displaced. I had somebody with me. Yeah, it was a mind-blowing experience.
It generally is. It's contact is weird because it's not always clear exactly what the hell is going on. Because unfortunately for us, our brains can only imagine so much. We're still such a young race that things that happen to us sometimes we can't actually put into a memory that we understand, so we turn it into something else. And this happens a lot with contactees, by the way. This isn't something that's just a fluke. This happens a lot because there's a lot of times there's things going on either that made you angry or you just simply can't grasp because whatever technology is so far beyond us, it's like magic. So, you know, and even though you know, because the alien's standing right there, but you know, yes, this is technology, you can't perceive it any other way than magic. There's no way for your brain to wrap around how this actually works. Without sci-fi, we'd be worse off because at least sci-fi gives us some imagination on how some.
Yeah, they've got part of the story, but there's no way. The funny thing is that I forget exactly how he worded it, but Stephen Hawking said something to the effect that we shouldn't go out looking for alien life because we may find something so exotic we don't recognize it as alien life, and then at that point it would be too late.
Yes, as it probes us.
Oh, yeah, or it destroys us. Yeah, one or the other.
What do you mean? Do aliens really probe you? Probably at least once, but yeah, they got a tendency. They'd like to stick something in all your holes somewhere along the line. Don't ask me why. Ask them. I'm sure it's just a routine examination. I've never even heard of anybody being probed more than once. I have heard of people being, but okay, let me rephrase this. So for the people who remember this isn't. Let me explain. So especially if this is you're on this table that just floated up out of the floor and it's kind of clear as silver. And it bubbles and it foams around your body. And now it's now holding you in position. And the bubble engulfs your entire body. But you can still breathe even though it's covering your face and everything. And you see a hole open up in the wall about this big. And as the two things come spinning out as it heads towards your face, it blooms out to about 8 or 15 different tools. And when it does, there's a tool for every hole in the body, everything, including eyes. They go in all of it. And as far as I know, they only do it to one time. I mean, I couldn't swear by it, but as far as I know, they only do it. But it is talked about a lot because it's not the intrusive part that scares people. It's that frigging thing singing at the wall going, shit, for their face just freaks people out. But that's the people who remember that. A lot of people are not going to remember that. One thing ET is good about is they try to block out as many bad memories as possible. Because not everything they do is good.
Yes.
So, but what happens is people, humans, have a tendency, if they find something negative, they tend to harp on it, grab on it. And even though it's probably not even mostly true, they'll turn it into something else. So I always tell people, concentrate on good contact.
It's an emotional roller coaster, you know, and at least for me it was. You know, I've been through the whole, how dare you take me to, what an honor. You know, I'm so glad it happened to me.
Well, that's, you know, I remember I was giving a lecture, like 25 years ago, I'm giving this lecture, and this guy stood up and looked at me. He said, "You mean they take our kids? I said, yeah, just like they took your mom and dad. While they were taking your mom and dad, they took you. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah. I said, talk to your kids. And he got so angry. He said, well, I understand why you're not more angry about this. I said, because when I first realized this was going on, I was pissed. I said, damn, no good, and blankety, we need to just do something about it. And then I realized they're just the next step in what's going on.
Well,
so they're bigger and better than us. Or at least
and when they find out they've been in the womb being examined in this way, that's even, I mean, that's like the ultimate invasion, right? You've been examined in the womb before you're even conscious. I mean, I can't imagine how invasive that must be.
I wonder if they just use some type of passive scam.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, though, I mean, you're.
Well, no, they might actually insert some because we do know they do that.
They might,
so.
yeah.
I'm not going to rule that out. You know, I do know they like people named Michael, by the way. Something, they have a particular thing they like.
That was my brother's name, so.
You know, hey, you know, Michael, what's his face? He gets probed regularly. No, Judy, I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about Michael. Oh, now it's name right. He used to host on our network. Yeah.
Oh, Angling.
Yeah, angry. That's what we used to call him.
Yeah, angry.
That's because he's being probed. That's why he's angry. He's a big old guy, like 6'5". And yeah, he's still being probed. They didn't care. Them little Grays like 6'5". What does that mean to us? We'll still whoop your ass.
Yeah, I mean, when you can paralyze a human being with just a gesture and a thought from your brain, and they're just like, there's really no threat there. You know what I mean?
And that, when you realize a little 3-foot Gray can grab you by the ankle and drag you around like a potato sack, you're kind of like, what? No, because I mean, these guys are like just. They're super strong for their size. I mean, they're seriously super strong.
Even if they weren't, their brain power, they could just like take you with their telekinesis and go bam, like in the cartoons, you just flop up and down like a flip flop until you're unconscious. They don't even need to exert a muscle.
Jacqueline is one of our East Indian directors. She said, "What kind of aliens have you seen them? Do you know what they look like? What kind do you think they are?" That's what she's asking. Actually.
Me, I've never seen a being. I've only seen the ship, a couple different ships, and I've retained a natural surface memory of being on board the craft. So I got familiar with a small portion of inside the craft, but I've never seen. They didn't let me see the actual beings.
Well, you must have had a positive. You must not have positive. Don't feel bad. Not many people do. I can imagine the first time somebody sees a gray or a reptilian human, they're like, "What the?"
I think you somehow accidentally muted yourself, Joe.
Yeah.
No, I hear.
Yeah, everything's on. It's on. Mike hears me.
Yep.
No.
Yeah. But we hear each other. You must be muted. Yeah, you got muted. Jay got muted. Heidi, did you mute Jay? Shame. We know Heidi did it. She'll hack into the Gray's computers and stuff. But no, it's true. I mean, it happens. You know,
my
earphones finally powered up. That's what happened. They're gonna probably die in a minute.
I
hate that.
I have an idea. That more than likely I was taken by something that was 4 foot tall, and more than likely it was probably a gray. But I don't have a actual memory of it. I just know that one of my screen memories suggested that it probably was that.
Well, we could find that out, but I could put you on to find out. But anyway, but more importantly, I don't really need that to know who it was. So describe you seen the outside and the inside, or just the inside?
Oh, inside, outside, yeah.
Just describe. Take your time. We got lots of time.
Yeah. Hey, so it all started off with me just admiring the clouds one early evening. It had just turned dark in Hayward, California, which sits right in the middle of the San Francisco Bay Area. I went out for a walk around the block. That's all it started out with. I ran into a friend named Chano in the middle of the street. There wasn't much conversation. There was just kind of an understanding that it was time for a walk around the block. And that's what we did. I was tripping off the clouds because they were looking really pretty. They were moving pretty fast. There was nothing out of the ordinary. I realized that the clouds were moving fast because they were pretty low that night. And the clouds looked pretty bright too. And I figured the moon was, more than likely lighting them up. So that's what I was doing. I was just enjoying and admiring the sky, looking at the clouds until a portion of the clouds began to spiral. It began to vortex. And I had a couple of thoughts that ran through my mind. It started off as a really slow, small spiral, and it got really big, really fast. And I completely blacked out. And my next conscious moment, I was no longer standing where I know I was standing. I was on another street, about a half a block further down the street, facing complete another direction. And this time I find myself with my arms tucked to the side of my body and my head locked straight up, and I'm looking at the belly of a flying saucer, and I cannot move. I'm paralyzed. But as a 12-year-old, I just chalked it up to, oh wow, I just don't want to miss a second of this. You know, I knew what I was looking at right away. I know it was a flying saucer. I heard of these things, and from what I gathered, they don't stick around too long. So I thought that I felt fun. I mean, I felt like a soldier. I knew that right away. I couldn't move, but I was like, oh, maybe I just don't want to miss a second of this, you know? And I'm looking at the belly of this craft, and it's got this blue light that's sporadically flashing on the belly of the craft. And as it's flashing, to me, it looks like it has some kind of electrical issue. And I remember thinking, God damn, if this is a UFO with modern technology, why does it seem to have some kind of electrical issue? And as soon as I thought that, it snapped out of whatever electrical issue I was thinking it had, and it put on an all-out, multicolored, symmetrical, beautiful light show. It was a multicolored light show. I got something that I drew quite a few years ago. This is kind of what I was looking at. And it was the light show kind of started off pretty slow. You know, the lights would start off around the perimeter of the craft, and they would work their way to the core. Sometimes the lights would go counterclockwise. Sometimes they would go clockwise. It started off pretty slow, kind of like the vortex in the clouds. And the multicolored light show steadily got faster and faster and faster. And it reminded me of one of them remember that old game, Simon Says, where you just kind of whoop, 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 whoop. So it kind of reminded me of that. And so it's putting on this light show that probably lasted about 20 seconds. And the light show stops, and the craft kind of glides ahead of me and my friend Chano a little bit, to where now I'm looking at the entire craft as a whole. I can see the entire craft, and it's just a saucer. There's not, you know, it's symmetrical. The top is symmetrical to the bottom. There's nothing fancy about it. It does a little bit of a wobble. And then it just like took off near the speed of light. And that's when I was able to move. The speed of the craft blew me away more than anything that I've ever experienced in my life, including the vortex in the clouds, including the screen memory that I had a couple years prior, including another UFO experience that I had actually asked for. I kind of prayed for it, and I had it with my wife. This speed of this craft when it left made me think I was watching a cartoon. It was unbelievable. And when this craft took off near the speed of light without making a sound, I found myself able to move. And the first thing that I did was I looked to my left, because that was the last place my friend Chana was standing when we were on. We started off on East 11th Street, and after the vortex in the clouds, I ended up on East 10th Street, facing another direction. And sure enough, my friend Chana was still to my left, and the first words out of my mouth to my friend was, "That was a UFO, huh?" And my friend Chano just kind of looked at me and went, "Yeah." I could tell he wasn't impressed. It really threw me for a loop. I could tell that Chano didn't want to talk about it. And it was an uncomfortable, quiet rest of the walk around the block. I could tell that my buddy just didn't want to talk about it. But I found that to be a commonality as well. After studying the phenomenon for so many years, a lot of experiencers have had seen, a UFO or had an experience with other friends with them. And it's almost like you're programmed to not talk about it. Or, I never asked Chano the right questions. All I would try to get out of Chano was a yes or a no, really. At 12 years old, I didn't really know what to ask him other than, do you remember that UFO we saw? The light show, and remember when it took off? I never talked to Chano about the vortex and the clouds that happened just prior to that. As a matter of fact, I didn't bring that part of the story up because I really thought that it discredited my UFO experience. You know, who wants to hear about a vortex in the clouds? You know, what's wrong with this nutcase? You know, so I would just stick with the UFO because at least people have heard of the UFO. But like I said, it took me years to realize that the vortex in the clouds was that's when they got me. That's when they took me. And when I came back out of the blackout, they were pretty much done with me and they were putting me back. And, you know, it took me a long time to just figure out that portion of my experience that I just explained to you guys.
Well, no, it makes sense. I mean, because there's a lot goes on there. But remember this: not everybody sees UFOs. Okay, not everybody can see them. Let me rephrase it: not everyone can see UFOs. As far as I can tell, I can't prove this, even though the evidence that we do have is pretty good.
Highly suggestive, yes.
That only contactees see UFOs.
Yeah.
So in other words, a layman can't see him. If you're standing there with John Green and he's not a contactee, he's not going that you could be touching the damn thing and he wouldn't see it. It's
and I found even with my own experiences, you know, people I've experienced UFO things with, I'll be like, it's like you said, like, hey, you remember that? There's two things: that either they don't remember it, or they remember it and they come to you first. There's the only two outcomes. It's usually they don't remember, and it's like, hey, you remember that time when we saw these UFOs? You're like, don't remember. And if there's going to be any kind of conversation between you and friends about any UFO experience in the past, it's usually one of them approaches you first. The rest won't, and the ones that don't, they don't remember. So they probably didn't experience it. Is the thing.
I have a feeling he caught the very end of it. I think he just remembers because I would get a validation out of him. You know, I would get a, man, Mike, you're still talking about that, you know, and I got a group of friends behind me that I'm trying to convince. And I'll go, yeah, I'm still talking about it. Can I at least get a yes or a no? And he would go, yeah. So I have a feeling that I think he just caught the very end of it, you know, like maybe the little wobble and the taking off part. I don't think he remembers us actually being on the other street. Yeah.
So you know why you see UFOs, right?
I have all kinds of theories, but they're just
theories. But so first off, couple of things real quick. You know, people always talk about cover memories. They're not cover memories, they're trigger memories. So a cover memory you would never remember. Okay, you would just not remember it. It would not be there. They would just wipe the memory. It wouldn't be a memory. The Greys don't have to leave. Even the government don't have to leave the memories in your head. They leave the memories in the head because they're trigger memories. That's why it's always something that triggers it. Like in the old days, people would see owls and deer. Oh, there was an owl standing in the window. Oh, there was a deer walking next to me on the street. That was a trigger memory. It was just to let you know something had happened so that your mind would investigate it. Well, saucers or ships became trigger memories. So E.T. learned when they pick us up or put us back, just let us see the ship. We don't have to remember anything else. Just let us see the ship, and it will drive us batshit crazy. And we will look and look and look and look and look and look until they put us in the freaking ground. And they figured it out now. And they've also figured out things. They've adjusted the way they abduct people based on us, on the contactees and the researchers. They realized that we realized what the hell missing time was. And then they realized that we could break in to cover memories. So they were like, well, wait. So they did two things that we know of. One, missing time is almost a thing of the past now. It rarely happens anymore. But we know they're still taking people all the time. So you have to figure out, well, we know what's going on now. So they like slide you out into a pocket universe, basically. Or it's not even that. It's like a little bubble, basically, outside of time and space. They keep you there, and it could be a building, it could be a ship, it could be all kind of stuff. They keep you there doing whatever they're going to do. And then they put you back. And they usually put you back around the time they take you. 5 minutes before, 10 minutes after, but somewhere in that little groove where you're not going to have any missing time, because as far as your brain's concerned, 10 minutes passed. Even though your body knows 3 weeks have passed, your brain does not know that. All your brain knows is 10 minutes has passed, and you're sitting there going, what the hell just happened. Well, we had some accidents happen for us. I talk about this one case all the time because it's a really good example. We've got other ones besides this, but the one where we went and had dinner with the people, and we were with them till midnight. And then at 6 in the morning, they call me. I get to their house at 6:30. This woman's got hair this long.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's got a beard like this. They were both clean shaven the night before. And bitch part is we have pictures of it. We had the person with the camera at dinner take pictures of the group. So you can clearly see she's in a dress. You can see her leg goes smooth as a baby's butt. You can see his face smooth as a baby's butt. I get there. I'm not kidding. His beard was down to here. When we went and talked to the doctor said it was a minimum of 3 weeks worth of work. He said, "There's no way this happened overnight." I said, "Well, here's the picture from last night." And even he was like, "What the?" He said it had to be some kind of He said he'd never heard of spontaneous growth like that. He said he's heard of spontaneous hair growth, but not to that extent. He said that's unheard of. He actually said it was unnatural. Is what he said. So you get cases like these, you can't explain them. You've got hard, solid evidence that now lets you know that these people were taken, and if it wouldn't have been for the hair, they would have never known. And they would have never known they were gone for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Your brain just not registered. And then they got even smarter, and they figured, you know what? Humans are dumb.
Yeah.
So they said, like, it's like, so you say you have a drive that you have to do every day, like go to work, go home, whatever it may be, something you do, something that's monotonous that you do all the time and you don't think about it. They use that memory against you. They loop it. So your brain, as far as your brain concerned, whatever happened is no longer there because they just loop a memory of something you do that's mundane that you don't question. So you just go right past it. Even though you know there was something odd just happened, your brain's not going there. Your brain's like, no, it's just mundane, and it just goes on about it still. It makes it hard, not just on y'all, but it makes it hard on the researchers to find out what the hell is going on. Because now we have to find the looped memory to break it in order to find out what's left behind. And they're not easy to find. I mean, they're just, it could be anything. I mean, we found out the one lady, and and I like to use this one too because it's pretty blatant. She used to get up every morning, go to work, get a hot dog at 7:30 in the morning. She's pregnant.
Chili dog.
Yeah, chili dog.
Right?
Yeah, actually, it was chili cheese onion dog. It was disgusting. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
She showed me one morning. This thing was like, I'm like, you eat that in the morning time? She's like, oh, it's delicious. I'm like, oh my God.
So she was pregnant too. We got to put it in context.
So, but anyway, a couple of years down the road, she's got a memory of that morning stopping and getting her favorite chili dog on the way to work. Now, you wouldn't have questioned that if the chili stand still existed, but it was gone. It had been gone
Except it had been gone for 15 years or something.
No, it'd been gone for not that long, but it had been gone for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. It
Yeah.
gone. And so she's like, well, you know that's impossible. There's no possible way I had a chili dog because the place don't exist. And she said, I'm even madder because now I can think about that stupid chili dog.
Because now I want to go get one and they don't exist. Yeah.
She's like, wait till I see that little grandma wring his little neck. I was like, oh shit. But I mean, they do make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I call it mistakes per se, but they sometimes they're just unaware of things or we're smarter than they realize. They think we're so dumb sometimes. They're not quite as dumb as they think we are. But
yeah, that's true.
But they really have caught on to us, and it's what's frustrates so many researchers in the field today because they're not getting the amount of cases they were, they're not getting the amount of information they were, and it's because they don't know what to look for. And I share, but I don't share. It's only if you're listening to the show. I'm not going out. Usually I go out and lecture about it, but now I don't. I figure, look, I had to find out the hard way. Y'all could find out the hard way too. It's just a shame though, because the field should be more stable so everybody can get along. But that's also how we learned that only contactee see spaceships. And one of the best ones for that is, there's three really good ones. There's the Belgium sightings, there's the Phoenix Lights, and there's the Mexico City sighting. Mexico City, 1 million people saw this crack. 1 million.
But then Mexico City was like decades of flaps, and the same thing results every time. You know, how many people live in Mexico City? Millions. How many people see the UFOs? Hundreds of thousands of them. Of those hundreds of thousands of them, only like half of them actually are able to film it, and then the other half actually see it. It's weird. People could be standing next to each other, and one guy's like, "Yeah, I don't see it," and the other guy's like, "No, it's right there," and they
Yeah,
can't
it can
see
totally
it.
dictate who sees what. If you can manipulate space and time, everything else is child's play.
Well, so
Because their brains are so powerful. Yeah,
I want to say that one was in 94, 95. So the Hamid Masson, they registered 1.1 million people said they saw it. Now, all they got was mostly blurry footage. But remember, there are 22.5 million people in Mexico City. So you got to wonder why the other 21 million people didn't see it.
Yeah.
Especially since the mayor and the police chief were on the news talking about the damn big UFO sitting up in the sky for the last 20 hours.
Same with the Phoenix Lights, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one in Mexico was there for 24 hours. The one in Phoenix was there for several hours, too. And I was talking
the event was occurring while they were talking about it.
While they were talking about it on TV. Yeah, I was talking with Dr. Lim Kitai. She lived up on the mountain in Arizona, right where you can see straight across at it. And she's been a guest on the show many times. And, she was like, it just didn't make any sense. And the thing about it is about 3,600 people reported seeing it in a city of 2 million. Where was everybody else at? And like you just said, they were on the TV, they were on the radio, they were talking away. And still, nobody else managed to see the damn thing. Same thing in Belgium. They people saw it, and the rest of the people didn't see it. So it took a little while to work out the numbers. But when we worked out the numbers, so contactees make up about 15% of the world's population, 10 to 15%. And so we started crunching the numbers across all the known mass sightings and how many people saw them versus how many people were there. It came out between 10.2% and 15.5%, around the same thing as the contactees. It was very weird, very strange. So it let us know that, I guess, being on board the craft makes you where you can see the craft.
Well, it's also very close to the same number of percentage of people who are Rh negative.
Yeah, that's 15%. So it's totally
it's like 15%. Yeah.
I don't know why, but they've been here. And the thing of it is they've been here a long time. So like when I listen to Disclosure today, they make it sound like, oh, they showed up 20 years ago. Bullshit. When they showed up doing Roswell, no, they showed up way before that. Mm-hmm. That's when I hear people say, well, every other ship crashes. Really, for the last 10,000 years, every other ship's been crashing. I just got a fundamental issue with that. I'm like, oh,
yeah, that's what's his face.
Yeah, that's some ufologists do more harm than good to the field, and in Greer's case, he does, because sponsoring witnesses like that are ex-spies with third-hand information is just dangerous to the field.
Yeah, and the spy even comes out and says, I'm a spy. All of my information is third-hand witness information. It's by the time it's gotten to his ears, it's probably closer to fourth. But he's a reporter, I guess you could call him, David Garush. He's very much like the decade before that guy was Giorgio, the guy with the hair. He's just an editor, a book editor. He's not a UFO researcher. He's not a UFO experiencer. I don't think he's ever seen a UFO. He might have, but I doubt it. But they are reporters, and they have reported certain things. And what it basically boils down to is they're just like the legacy news. They're reporting what the data has shown them in their opinions. That's it.
So when you're in the ship, let's get back to talking to the ship about the ship. I know a couple people said, "Wait, y'all were talking about the ship, and then y'all left. What the hell happened?" I love when people write in. So, I mean, when you walk up, when you see it from outside, I mean, do you get a sense? Do you feel anything like coming off the ship, any energy, any vibrations? Is it just like quiet, still? I'm just curious. And what's the overall shape of it? You can see it.
So yeah, for me, it was very typical. Just around, it was your typical saucer, and the feeling I had was. It was more of a cerebral feeling, an understanding that a mutual understanding that I was of no harm to them. There were no harm to me. There was nothing that I could hide from them. They knew everything about me. I felt, transparent to them, so to speak. And it was a good feeling. I was excited to see it. And when this blue light was randomly flashing on the belly of the craft, every time it flashed, I was able to get a really good close-up view of the actual skin of the craft. And I remember seeing like electrical tubing, like integral, things that you would think you would be seeing. Like I was looking through the actual initial layer of skin of the craft. It was, and mind you, I mean, I think this is when they were done with me. So that was my very next conscious moment after I blacked out was, boom, okay, I'm back and I'm looking at the craft, the belly of this craft, and this light, this blue light. It's a beautiful blue light, but it looks sloppy to me. But every time it flashed, I was able to get a really good look, and that's what I was able to see was integral tubing and wiring, and you can go either way with that. Like that, some people say, oh, that's proof that it was ours, but to me, it didn't feel like it was ours. It didn't feel negative. It didn't feel like a reverse engineered craft. I don't know it all. I'm just, full of what my mind, is telling me this is all about. I don't know it all, but yeah. I have memories of being on board the craft. They left me with some memories. After this experience, I had things that I called dreams. I was like, oh, this must have been a dream. And then I realized I got to the point in my life where I was like, no, some of these were visions. And then now I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? Some of this stuff might have very well been shown to me on board the craft. But yeah, I have memories of being on board this craft, and it's this big, long, windy, white, bright hallway with doors to my right. It felt like a continued dream that I had one night after another until I finally became lucid enough to go, hey, Mike, you keep ending up in this long, white, bright hallway with doors to the right. So I started testing myself out, and I go, wait a minute, I'm familiar with this place. Let me open up this door. And I would open up this door, and boom, there's an amphitheater room that I described. I remember being inside it. It's a humongous room. And you hear that over and over where, you open up something and you wouldn't think the size of what you're about to see is actually within this craft. But that's what happened with me.
Like the TARDIS, yeah.
I was in this humongous amphitheater setting. There was a stage. There was a seating area. It was really weird because when I walked into this amphitheater room, it was also bright or white and clean looking. But the stage that I was on was bright and white as well. And I felt like I was being guided, but I could not see anybody next to me. But I felt like someone was showing off the gig, someone was showing off the gigs here. And the seating that I was looking at, where you would think, the seating would be, it was actually abstract black, like melted obsidian looking material that I was witnessing, which was really weird. And then there was also a room within this room that didn't have a door. It was just kind of like a Flintstones cartoon kind of door where it was just an archway. And I walk into this room, and it was much smaller. And there was a black, like melted obsidian looking hot tub. It looked like a hot tub to me, like an old school fiberglass hot tub that you and I would enjoy, and it had all the little contours and stuff for your legs, and one of those
your drink.
Yeah, it wasn't full of hot bubbling water. It did have pockets of stagnant non-circulated water inside the tub, and I could tell you it wasn't a hot tub, but it did remind me of a hot tub, and it was the only thing that was black in this room. And I also took note that it was dusty, and I remember thinking, man, here I am in a UFO, advanced technology, and they don't even have a housekeeper. It's just like, why? I'm tripping off the little subtle differences, like seeing dust on. I was blown away by seeing dust. Like, what is dust doing on here? But that's the only section of the craft that I got kind of familiar with, and all the doors that were to my right, they were all kind of patternized. Like there was a door here, and then maybe 6 or 7 feet, there was another door, and it was just even all the way down. And the thing about these doors was, if you were to open up one of these doors and look inside the room, you would not be able to see the doors. You would not be able to see other doors. So to me, the whole door thing was just something they did with my mind, where I'm familiar with the door. I'm familiar that opens up and I can go into it, but they weren't really doors in the sense that you and I, are comfortable and used to calling doors where we're at right now. It was different because I can see that they were close enough apart to where if I were to open up a door and look in the room, I should be able to see those other doors, the inside of the other doors. But it wasn't like that. Each room was something that just would blow you away, in size.
Almost kind of like the TARDIS. Each room is each room is its own dimensional area. Really, they don't seem to be connected to the others.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not like it's nothing like we're used to here. Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Seems like I'm trying to think that it's got to be one of the bigger ships. It's got to be one of the motherships, either one of the round ones.
The size of this ship, the size of this ship, and I believe it was probably 150 to maybe 250 feet above the nearest telephone pole. And it did block out the entire sky. I was fixated on nothing but the belly of this craft. There was no more looking at the clouds. There was no seeing stars. This thing took up my entire view. And as it kind of glided ahead of us a little ways, it's hard to tell how far it did go ahead of us before it took off. But it didn't seem like this humongous craft after it kind of flew ahead of us a little bit. It didn't seem like this, giant mothership or anything. I mean, if I would have had my Etch-a-Sketch on me, I would have been able to. I feel like I would have been able to hit it, and throw it and hit it when it was above me.
It had to be pretty big just because of the rooms you described. But how tall were the ceilings in the room? Do you remember?
I don't remember seeing a ceiling, and I don't know if it's because everything had like the same kind of brightness to it, so it kind of. I don't know if it made it appear like if there was like a top, like a dome to the room or something, I probably would. I couldn't tell because of the light or the brightness. Everything.
Well, that was the next question. How was it lit? I mean, how first off, tell me the color of the light, the softness of the light, or the hardness of the light.
It was
how did it appear? Where did it come from?
It was white. It was like a bright white, but there was like no sign of the lights coming from here. Oh, the light's coming from there. The light lit up
just there
from within. It was just it just made everything bright. There was nothing that I could look at and go, oh, there's the light. That's where it's coming from. No, it was like coming from within the walls, within the ceiling, within everything. So much so that it would blind my seeing like the top or the bottom of something. You know what I mean? It just kind of made everything kind of glow together, kind of bright together.
Did you see any? Did you smell anything while you were in there?
I don't recall any smells or anything. No.
Well, usually because the air inside the ships or clean to the point where you don't smell anything. That's why sometimes humans, when they've been on a ship for a while, when they get off and get home, when we sit right here, we don't really smell the air. We're like, oh, I don't really smell anything, but it actually does. When you get off a ship, you've been in a clean ship, So the way I learned about that when I was in the Navy, submariners used to come out after being down for 9 months, and they said, wow, the air smells so good because there was no smell to the air whatsoever. It was actually scrubbed so there wouldn't be a smell to the air. And so it's almost like they keep it pristine, clean, so there's no problems with contamination or pollution or anything like that. So, and then the light for most of the 3 major ships we're talking about, the Greys, Represents Humans, the lights come from, for the Greys, for all of them, the light comes from the floors, the ceilings, and the walls. It's like, the best way to describe it would be like 3D projected light without seeing a projection. So when you look at the wall don't actually look like it's glowing, but the light source is the wall and the floor and everything else.
Right.
But the
it's
lights
ambient light without being reflected.
Yes, and it can be intense. It can be dull and it can be dim, but it can be intense. And they do when they have you in a big room and there's lots of things going that they don't want you to see. They intensify the light, so you can't really see what's 10 feet away from you or 15 feet away from you. There could be somebody having a procedure done, but you can't really see it. It's a way of having privacy without actually having walls.
That's absolutely true. When I was in that black hot tub room, I was looking at the hot tub that was black. Everything else around the room had the same similar bright whiteness to it. I knew that there was something going on past the hot tub, and I knew that there was probably some beings that I could not see. I knew that there was probably a doorway that actually went around the perimeter of the ship. Like geographically, I felt like I knew where I was at on the ship. Just like I geographically need to know where I'm at all times, like here and now. Like I need to know what way I'm facing for some reason. I need to know where I'm at. And I had a feeling that I was close to the edge of the perimeter of the ship, and I was just out of reach from seeing some kind of doorway where it reminded me of like people would get in line, and there was a certain point you could not pass. And I don't know if it reminded me of like a lunch line, and the people on one side were delivering, the cooks or whatever on one side, and then there's people on the other side that are going to get the food. They're not allowed to kind of go back there. That's just kind of the example that I'm giving you. I knew that something like that was going on just about 10 or 15 feet past the black hot tub. But other than that, everything was bright and white in there.
So in the hot tub, you didn't see any liquid or anything?
I did. I seen some non-circulated, stagnant looking. It didn't look refreshing at all. There was like pockets of water here and there. Like I said, the reason why it reminded me of an old school fiberglass hot tub is because of all the little curves and contours that you get, that you're supposed to actually kind of, put your back here, and this one takes your legs, and it just fits the perfect mold for your leg. It kind of reminded me like that of an old school hot tub, but I know it wasn't an old school hot tub. It's just the only thing that I can think of. And there was no getting in the water. There was small pockets of water here and there in the natural shapes of the contours and stuff that I seen within this tub that had water, and it didn't look refreshing. Like I said, I could tell that it was non-circulated. Even at 12 years old, that's what I got out of it. That's what I came away from, was it was stagnant. It was uncirculated. It didn't look very refreshing. That's what I got out of it, guys, at 12 years old. And a bunch of weird memories. I seen a wheel within a wheel, which I didn't know what the hell to make of it. I was 12 years old. I didn't know what there was one ring going like this, and then there was another ring inside of it doing the opposite thing. And it wasn't until much later in life when I'm, watching, the movie Contact with Jodie Foster, something triggers me in that movie. There's like this wheel within a wheel thing in there. And then Ancient Aliens came out, and they started talking about Ezekiel's vision of God. And, in ufology, there's an argument, that what Ezekiel witnessed was an actual UFO event, and how dare you, right? You start talking about UFOs, aliens, and and then you start talking about religion and spirituality.
Yes.
A lot of people don't appreciate that. And that's kind of what's on my table, man. It really kind of got biblical for me, because I learned that some of the things that I was shown, or some of the visions that I retained, were similar to the prophet Ezekiel, the biblical character Ezekiel. This is the wheel within the wheel. It's an angel. It's a biblically accurate angel, and it's called the Ophanim. And that's something that I retained. And when I first, I thought they were dreams, but there was no waking up after these dreams going, oh man, that was a crazy dream. This was something that it took me a long time to realize, like, this was more than a dream. This was more than a vision. This might have been something that they were showing me on board the craft. And from what I gathered, they like to show a apocalyptic type of things, and that's some of the things that they showed me. They showed me apocalyptic events. They showed me I was running from a crashing flood. I was a giant. I jumped up onto Stonehenge for safety as the waters just came to the top of the highest 15-foot pillars. It may have been Stonehenge. It may have been another circular stone structure. You know, they're finding structures all over the world under waters, like the Great Lakes and things like that. So what I felt like I had no business seeing this stuff as a 12-year-old kid. So to me, it was a validation that there's something to this. I didn't fall for everything in the world after that, but I did take a closer look into a lot of it, you know, into the whole angel hierarchy, you know, into the history. It really opened up my mind. And like you guys were saying, you know, this didn't just happen in 1947, you know, this began a long time ago, you know, and, you know, there's a misconception to think that our civilization is smarter than anything in the past, when I think it's the opposite. I think there were civilizations before us that were a lot more open and probably
it says so in the Bible. In the very beginning, it says there were people in those days, you know, before, you know, what do they call them? I forget exactly, but in the very beginning, right before, like it's in the book of Genesis, it says that there's physically people there before the Adam and Eve thing.
Yeah. I mean, we line ourselves up with people that we respect, you know, in the world that we're in right now all the time. You know, I line myself up with people that I respect. If somebody came down from the heavens and visited me, I would line myself up with that particular individual. Why? Because they have it figured out. Apparently, they're able to come down from the heavens, and, you know, I would line my energies up with this person, and I can actually see how that would turn into religion. And then eventually, you know, religion will get hijacked. Anything good eventually gets hijacked. But to me, that's my opinion on how maybe religion actually started. I
think it was an on-purpose thing. I think they gave us 3 or 4 different controls to keep people in line. One was religion. One is government. They gave us the rudimentary things like Hammurabi's code and all that, but then also genetics, you know. So I mean, you know, this one doesn't look like the others, well, let's go kill them. Those 3 different things are what controls
a lot. I think it's a
human
lot
population. You know?
Yeah, a lot more. I think it's more than that even. I mean, I think we're very powerful beings, you know. I think when they changed the natural harmonic frequency of 432 in the music, you know, the Rockefellers, right? I believe they changed it to 440, more of a controlled base fear, you know. So I think it's an accumulation of a lot of things to try to keep us down. And here we are still talking about stuff that's still on the table. You know, here we are.
It's not so much they want to keep us down. We're fucking babies, excuse me. We're dangerous. We're ignorant. We're stupid, and we're brilliant all at the same time.
Yeah, we found the key.
We're not welcome into deep space because of those reasons.
Right.
They don't want us there. That's why they keep us here. We could have been in deep space a long time ago. They don't even want us on Mars yet because they're scared we're going to go blow it up.
Yeah, too late.
If that looks like what we already did.
So
we're already there.
Well,
I mean.
And then there's other problems that people don't like to talk about. One, our biological clock is not set to this planet. This planet has a 23 3/4 hour day. Our biological clock is set to 24 1/4 hours, which, by the way, is Mars. They have that day. We don't. Also, our optimal body temperature to work at is 73 degrees Fahrenheit on Earth. It's hotter. On Mars, that's what it was 4 billion years ago.
Well,
so it's kind of odd that our body fits another planet. So, and then people always tell me, oh, well, Guy's going to say, no, Guy's going to evict us. We don't belong here. We're not from here.
No, we don't.
This isn't our home.
All that specific information you just gave, also just the physical differences between us and the other mammals on the planet. All the other mammals are 95-85% covered in fur, except for like certain parts in their faces and their bottoms of their hands and feet. We don't have any.
Yeah, but it's even worse than that because Everybody else on this planet has millions of years of evolution. We don't. The most they can track us is 2 million years. Everything else has got 50, 60, 70 million years of evolution. It's not us. We just arrived on a scene out of the blue, and according to the Dogon,
2 million years ago. Yeah.
They said the Sumerians created a slave race, and the reptilians interfered in the slave race and gave us sentience. It's not that the slave race wasn't sentient. It wasn't sentient in the fact that it knew how to ask questions. Like,
it didn't know there was a slave race.
Yeah, it didn't know it was slave, and it didn't know, to say no. It didn't know it could even say no. But later on, when the reptilians intervened and started raping their women and bringing them back pregnant, those children who were born were different. They were like, screw you. There's way more of us than there is of you. You can't keep us down there. And eventually, Samaria was overthrown, and you can see it in the Sumerian text. Not the Mesoamerican. What were they called? Mesopotamians and the Egyptians, because they all existed around the same time. And this is prominent. This reptilian thing is prominent in their thing. And and you can even see, because the Sumerians tell a story of these reptilians who came down and took their women, raped them, and the kids were different. The Dogon tell the same story, exactly the same story. No races ever do that. So now you got one living in the mountains in Egypt and one down in the desert, and they're talking whatever aliens are talking to each other. Well, the Sumerian aliens were human type aliens that couldn't breathe the atmosphere on this planet. The original story is that they built 2 great white dome cities because they couldn't breathe. They had to have apparatus to breathe.
And what was the other one?
I don't remember. They were huge, vast, beautiful cities. And in those cities, they recreated themselves into a race that could live on our planet and work on our planet and breathe our atmosphere. Well, the problem was those people were like, screw you. Why are we doing this? We're super omnipotent. So they created the first known slave race. Out of the 7 creations of man, the last one being the race before us. We're the race after. We're the race where the reptilians intervened and the Greys intervened. So we have all 3 blood types. It's just different. But you can clearly see the Sumerians in the beginning were by themselves. They were separate. Whoever was there had created them separately, but they were already. So we used to always think that they had taken some monkey and did this, but it seems like there was already a very small human race on this planet, because they talk about the Dogon, and the Dogon wasn't part of the Sumerians, so they were existing as a human race when the Sumerians got here, or at least something close to humans. So, and then the Dogon knew all sorts of stuff. They knew the atomic weight of Sirius A, which is a teaspoon of it. If you tried to hold it in your hand, it would fall through our planet and through our sun. That's how heavy it is.
A teaspoon of it weighs as much as an aircraft carrier or something like that.
No, it weighs as much as, I think, a mini black hole. It's insane how dense it is. But they also knew the orbit, 55 and a half years. Their calendar is based on Sirius B's orbit, 55 around Sirius A, 55.5 years. They also predicted Sirius C, which we know exists. They also had advanced knowledge of the respiratory system of our body. So they had contact with somebody. And they say it was the Nemos, which were the reptilians. So a lot of people think the reptilians are actually the original bearers of life on this planet. So originally, we were an offshoot of their race. And the reason they believe that is because the reptilians seem to be more protective over humans than either the Greys or the human race. The human race that visits here doesn't like us. They're not big fans of us. They do like some of us, but for the most part, not so much. The Greys, they just think of us as pets. We're just not intelligent enough to be more than pets to them. We're like a mediumly dumb pet to them. And the reptilians generally think of us as family. They treat us as family, and they incorporate us into their rules when we're with them. And there's a lot of rules when you're hanging out with them. But still, and until recent times, they were considered the bearers of life and the bearers of peace. It wasn't until after the resurrection of Christ that changed. So you can track the whole thing. And they're the guys walking around with advanced technology in the Middle East, sharing it with the other advanced races. So I think the reptilians get a really bad rap, because when you do the research on them, it's not who they were. It's not even close to who we thought they were. that are eating.
Well, but there's also a deep instinctual fear of reptiles in most humans. I mean, you see an alligator or a snake, you're
But that's
immediate
only
instinct is to run.
that's only in recent time. Before that, there wasn't. That's one of the things they were talking about when you look at the Egyptian and Sumerian text and the Mesoamerican text, they revered the reptilians. So something happened, something changed it, and you don't even see a gray in the Sumerian text until AD. I don't think there is any in BC. There might be.
I think
there might be one.
first-
Actually, I think I'm wrong. I think it was like 300 BC. There's actually a hieroglyph in one. But other than that, there's not.
I don't know. I'm not too 100% sold on the hieroglyph. But the wall at Sacsayhuaman does have 4 or 5 different alien type faces that shouldn't be there. So that one I tend to kind of inclined to believe a little bit more. But
not even in text. They don't show up until right around the turn of that, between BC and AD. They show up somewhere right in that time, that 300 years in between. They just show up. Jimmy, I did lose a job for saying Jesus was an astronaut. Yes, really good damn paying job too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just got a damn raise. I was a general manager. I was a general manager of a $3 million a month McDonald's store. You don't even want to know what the commission was back 40 years ago, 35 years ago.
Probably pretty insane.
Yes. For then, I was making commission like people make today. It was insane. I was so pissed when I lost it. No, they didn't say why. I knew it was when I said it. They were a very, very, very religious organization. The people who own this particular franchise, McDonald's. Yeah. Well, they recruited me. They came and found me. I was managing for a company, and they just really liked my skills, so they brought me on. Oh no, yeah, they took good care of me, and still today they give me an excellent reference. You call today, they still give me an excellent reference, but I overstepped my bounds when I said Jesus was an astronaut. But the problem here is there is no miracle that Jesus performs that an alien couldn't perform, and there wouldn't be miracles; there would just be technology. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. When the movie Late Great Planet Earth came out, 85% of all miracles that had happened on this planet could be reproduced by man. By man. Not by an advanced alien, not by anything along those lines, but by man. And at that time, 88% of all of the prophecies had come true. So back in that, whenever this movie came out, it was only 12% of Revelations or Genesis left to happen. Which, of course, is probably the Great War. If it's going to happen. Because Notre Dame says it happens in a different way. Both, though, predict a fiery end for at least a little while.
Yeah, there's a lot of turmoil at first, and then things, 10, 15 years of pure, just absolute horrible stuff, and then all of a sudden,
you've got the other twist with religion. The Vatican admits that extraterrestrials are real. And not only do they admit they're real, but they admit that they're on a higher spiritual plane they were on. I was floored when Monsignor about it. I'm in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, how does he know?
Well, because he's the Monsignor, that's what he does. And that's what the Pope, you go by what the Pope tells you, that's what the Pope says. So. But he was clear about it. He said, when we were talking, he said, well, how old do you think they are? I said, between 500 million. So he said, yeah, so they would definitely naturally have a more higher connection. They've been around so much longer than we have. At this point, I mean, we're only getting 6,000 years of history to a race that's been around 1 billion years. What the hell would we know? Squat. Yeah. Well, Mike doesn't sound like he's too scared. Wait till they grab his hand and drag him down the hallway one night. Then his ass would be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Get me regressively hypnotized, and I might have another story for you guys.
Actually, it's funny, but sometimes ET, for the most part, keeps those memories out. I think a lot of the hostility is part of the control group, so they can keep an eye on what's going on. Because most of the contacts in Britain are what we call old school alien abduction 101, where everybody's pissed off and angry, and felt that violated stuff. But the other ones around the world are different. I mean, they're still, don't get me wrong. I mean, so basically what happens in an alien abduction for real is your mom gets pregnant. the miracle of life. The aliens take you for 3 or 4 or 5 times, check you out, do all kind of stuff, make sure everything is right, balance out whatever they're going to do. If they're going to do any modifications, that's when they're going to do it. Do it right then and there. When they put you in, you're born, and then usually pretty quickly after you're born, they come take you. Yeah, a couple months after that, they come take. A couple months after that, and after that, it progressively changes until you hit puberty, because they want you to be acclimated to them, so they pick you up all the time. And they put you with other kids on board the ship. So like you'll have memories. I shouldn't even say this because it's tainted memory, but you'll have memories where you're in rooms with other children, talking, playing, cutting up, some being scared. Sometimes there'll be other alien children in there with you because 2 of the races let their children play with our children. They even let them interact with adults. And sometimes the reptilians are a bitch about this, but sometimes they'll test your will. So let's say that you're a female and these 2 young male reptilians are harassing you. The only way you can make them stop is you can't physically hurt them. Because first off, they're twice your size. Ain't much you can do. But mentally, you can make them stop. So the reptilians always say the same thing. They respect when you use the force of will through your mind to say stop. That's enough. He said that's usually enough to even stop a young reptilian in its tracks. Because that's what they respect. It's how their society is. And there's a hierarchy. You know, there's an alpha male, alpha female, and the alphas the only ones that really have tails. All the other ones are tailless.
That's the heart. Whenever you display heart, you know, that's
it.
Universal. It's a universal thing. It's a universal respect. When you show heart, when you don't care that you are no match, when you don't care that there's nothing you can do, yet you still speak your mind or whatever, you know, that's a universal language right there, and that's called heart for sure. That's what I believe.
The human aliens consider it disrespectful to them. The other 2 races that have done, they're kind of cool. They're like, yeah, look at my little contactee acting out. The Greys actually like us. They just know that we're not ready for anything yet. They want to see us be ready, but they know. You know, it was something that happened to us before we become ready. And they're only allowed to interfere so much. So somebody gave us RH negative for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, it took me a long time to realize what RH negative was. I was just like, well, my blood type is B negative. I don't know what this RH negative thing's all about. And then one day I realized, oh my God, my B negative is like 2% of this planet. Like it's very rare.
Right.
So, and like Joe was saying earlier, how it follows the family line, it follows the bloodline. So here I am sitting here B negative. My father denies any UFO contact. My mom has a experience where Jesus appeared before her, and I wasn't trying to hear that at the time. I was looking for strictly UFO experiences, but
which I probably was.
Exactly. So my mom had an experience up in the Hayward Hills with a couple of friends, listening to some music, kind of fooling around and dancing and stuff. And all of a sudden, my mom said the music stopped. Her friends froze, and this man in a white robe appeared before her, and he asked her some things without opening his mouth. And basically, he asked her if she was ready, and she thought to herself, hell no, I'm not ready. Ready for what? And as soon as she thought that, the music kicked back on. Her friends continued to kind of dance. And she said that she did not share that story with anybody except for me. And it actually took me a while to chalk that up as an experience. Like I said, I was just looking for a UFO experience. And I count that as an experience. That's why I believe things have got definitely biblical for me.
Well, they can make you so. The reptilians and Greys don't actually shapeshift, but they can make you think they do. They can make you. So a Gray has the ability. Anybody around them will see something else. Doesn't matter even how far they're away for some reason. If you see that Gray, you see something else, but it's not something else. But you see same thing with the reptilians. You see something else, and it makes it easier for them to move amongst us. Well, the Greys it's a little easier because the 5 and 6 foot ones aren't that big, but reptilians, unless they're young, they're big. I mean,
Yeah,
An
9 and 10
male,
feet
yeah,
tall.
he's at least 8 or 9 foot tall. He's 6, 7, maybe 800 pounds. But he's proportionate, big arms, big legs. Not somebody you want to screw with for sure. But yet they seem to be very gentle and they like kids. And they do have a religion and they have a single religion. But really and truly, and this is what freaked me out about the reptilians. When we got into some really deep research, we found that in the beginning, they were an agrarian society. They were very peaceful society. Very, very. They had colonized quite a few parts of space. And it was very peaceful. But then whatever war came, they got stuck in the middle of it. So I guess it is peaceful now. But
I think they're still cleaning up the aftermath too.
It's weird because when you hear people talk about this war, it sounds like it was raging a long time ago. But then it sounds like it's still being put away today. I don't actually think it's raging. I just think it's like you just said, it's better being cleaned up.
Yeah, but the repercussions of it are still being felt, and it's not an ongoing war. Yeah, I get the same. I get the same data.
So I was reading this thing about the other day that Tesla has a machine that could attract other solar systems or galaxies to us. No, that's okay. Turn whatever you do, don't turn that damn thing. Do that thing.
Oh yeah. If you get that machine going, maybe we can attract some of the missing parts to our history. Maybe it'll bring in what came through our inner system and broke up the planets and turned the fifth planet into a rubble pile and tilted us on its side and deposited Venus there. There's a lot of mystery going on in this solar system.
Well, Dean, I've never talked to either pope or any pope. I have talked to 2 monsignors, 2 bishops, and both of the Vatican's astronomers. Yeah, they all agree that that's what the Vatican believes, that they're spiritually hired, that the Vatican's had contact since day one. They've always, No, they don't know what their agenda is, from what I understand. But they know that they're not here to wipe us out, and they know that they're going to demons. They know that much. Other than that, I don't think they know any more than anybody else. They do have, though, let's just say artifacts. Leave it at that. I don't know what they are, so don't ask. But if I do,
parts.
Yeah, they're definitely parts. What Jesse? Out of place artifacts is what James talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine a 24th century Star Trek phaser. You go on a dig in Egypt, you're digging up something that's, you think it's going to be 3,000 years old, but instead it's from the future. So it's like actually negative 4,000 years old. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
No, Jim, they found all kinds of. They found cogs, spurs, gears buried in coal that's 2, 3, 4 million years old.
Hardened steel tack hammers.
And they found just recently. They found what's the metal? They found a titanium gear just recently connected to a titanium rod that was buried in a coal. Yeah, just took it out of a place in Africa. They said where the coal was, it had to be 5, 6, 7 million years ago.
Allegedly, nobody was able to manipulate anything that far back. Yeah. Intriguing.
I don't know who was making titanium back then, or what they were using it for either.
Wasn't us.
But no, I mean, so Mike, I'm not sure might not be having contact with the human aliens. I have to think about this. Maybe I'll have to bring you on one night and put you on there. It's no, actually we should do it private first. No, Pete. So I have done hypnosis on the air. I prefer not to, but I have done it. It's best to always do it first because you never know what's going to come out of somebody's head.
Yeah.
Because, all right, Christopher, not all alien abductions turn out to be alien abductions. Sometimes they turn out to be other things like child molestation or other things that have happened to people that are horrific. Yeah, believe it or not, there are things that are horrific enough that people think aliens took them instead. But there are a lot of legit contacts. So you just got to kind of wade through the mess. Well, have you seen the TV series Taken, Jimmy? Mike, have you ever seen the TV series Taken?
I haven't. No, I haven't got into that one.
Well,
It's a good show.
Taken's kind of fun to watch. It's a little goofy, but it's Spielberg had contact with somebody. At least parts of things that are in the movie is true. So there's cases where E.T. has come over and taken somebody from the mill people, and we're really nasty about it. There's also cases where they protected an individual from those people.
I will be right back.
You know, it's kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. I mean, but and then you know the Greys have the ability to defy gravity when they walk. They can walk on the side of the walls. They can walk on the fucking ceiling. And they like to crawl around like ants sometimes, which is just creepy looking when they run into your house. Can you imagine you laying in bed, you see something coming through your wall like that, running up the side of your wall and shit? I'd be back for the gun, man. Like, somebody's gonna die, but yeah, it ain't gonna be me. It's but I mean they're way stronger than their little shits look.
That screen memory that I was describing to you, they appeared to me as a 4-foot 1950s waitress. She was inside a diner. I could hear the plates hitting the forks. I can hear the multi-conversations of a busy diner. It was a waitress, and she was coming right towards me with a plate of food. I wasn't, it didn't scare the bejesus out of me, but it did concern me enough to where I called down the short hallway to my mom to see if I can go sleep with her. Cause I was 10 years old. This was in 1983, I believe. And I called down the short hallway. Hey mom, can I come sleep with you? And I thought what I heard was my mom's voice. You know, now I'm not quite sure if it was my mom's voice. I think it was a little too sweet, but I heard, sure, honey, come on. And I remember thinking, okay, I got permission to go sleep with my mom. The next step is to get up out of this bed and walk through this diner and this waitress. And I didn't want to step on this lady. So that was the last thing I remember saying to my mom was, but I'm afraid to step on this lady. And I blacked out. And there was no waking up the next morning, you know, saying, hey mom, do you remember the waitress that I was telling you that was walking towards me? You know, I chalked it up to a ghost. I thought I had seen a ghost that night. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with a fellow experiencer. And this experiencer friend of mine said, now, Mike, why do you think that waitress appeared to you around 4 foot tall? You know, and I put that together along with the fact that I did black out, which is another commonality that I found within other experiencers. A lot of blacking out that goes on. So I figured, you know what, they had been taking me before 85, you know. And
so it's weird. The further you go back, the more intense the way they took you was. Right. The more forward you come, the less intense it should be.
Yeah, exactly. The less dramatic it is. You know, this is something I told my wife, and I used to only be able to go so far with my wife with this UFO story. For me to suggest that I have been taken was way too much for her. And that really broke my heart. And you know, this is something that I'm really passionate about. And I kind of put it out there. You know, I'm not a really religious person. I'm a spiritual person. And I kind of put it out in the cosmos, you know, the thought that it would be nice to have an experience with my wife, you know, and sure enough, that happened, Joe. You know, I don't know if you wanted me to wait for Jay to come back, but
no, he's all right. He can, he's probably actually listening.
I'm back. Okay. I had to go to the restroom.
I kind of prayed for it, and guys, I got it. It happened to me, and it was recent. It was in 2022. It was July 21st, 2022. I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and I went out for a cigarette with my wife in San Leandro, California, which is one town away from where I'm at now. I'm in Oakland, California. We went out for a smoke, and I see this object flying from the right side, much higher than the 1985 UFO that I experienced. This was pretty high, and I didn't want to embarrass myself initially because I have before in front of my wife with drones, Mylar balloons during graduations and things like that, with the sun hitting the Mylar balloon just right. It would trigger me and kind of embarrass me. I'd get excited. So I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I just kind of played it off. I go, what kind of drone is that? And this craft was flying overhead. It was hard to get an eye on it because all I was focusing on was it was flipping. I didn't know if it was flipping, rolling, or rotating, but there was one part of the ship, which was, come to find out, a ring around the actual craft. It was like a football-shaped craft. So this ring was flipping, and I was concentrating on this ring, of course, because I have this experience with the wheel within the wheel. So I'm like, what the heck am I looking at here? Am I looking at Ezekiel's craft, one of his ships, something that people think is an angel, and it's a ship. So this craft gets right kind of above me. And I have this guru friend of mine, Dr. Angel Thacker, and she was telling me next time I had an experience to kind of just hang in there and ask questions in my mind. So what I did was I asked, what's the message? And as soon as I thought, what's the message, the ring that was flipping kind of slowed up, and there was a display of beautiful white lights. It gave me a pattern of white lights that came from within the beautiful white craft of the. I have a picture of it that I drew here. So this is the craft that came across me and my wife. This is the craft that my wife had more memory of.
Cool.
I had more memory of the ring of it. And when I said, what's the message here? I got this display of brilliant white lights that illuminated from inside the ring. And to me, it looked a lot like Morse code. I wasn't familiar enough with Morse code to know exactly what it was saying, but I figured it was spelling out something. So I was excited. I went upstairs. I looked up this is what it displayed to me. This is the pattern that it displayed to me. It was dot, 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 and then it looked like a beginning of another dot, but it was a line, and then it repeated itself 2 times, just like this. I actually have a tattoo of it here on my wrist. It means 444. It's an angel number, 444. And if you look up angel number 444, it will tell you exactly everything that I needed to hear. It's angel number 444 is often associated with protection, encouragement, and reassurance. It is a sign that you are on the right path and that your angels and spiritual guides support and surround you. It encourages you to remain focused on building the life that you want, knowing that the universe is aligned to help you manifest your goals and your aspirations. So that's why I said that it kind of got biblical to me, because 444 is an angel number. I was familiar with,
but 444 is also 3. So 12 and 1 and 2 is 3. So the number actually means 3. If you're going to go back to doing numbers, you got to do base root number. The base root number on 444 is 3, because it's 12. 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. 4, 8, 12, and 1 and 2 is 3.
Yeah, I didn't get too far.
Yeah, I know. So that kind of stuff complicates.
That's some more tattoos I can get.
Well, no, because 3 is a completely almost flip meaning. It generally means danger and trouble or hostility. So, which is what a contact is. So that's what people don't understand. Contact are both. Contact are good and contact are bad.
There was no missing time or anything, no abduction.
You wouldn't need time. That's what I'm saying. You would know if they're taking you today. If this is something recent, there's not going to be any missing time. Then there shouldn't have been any missing time for the last really 28 or 30 years.
No, nothing dramatic with this experience at all. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So the abduction nowadays isn't dramatic. An abduction today is something you don't remember. They take you, they loop the memory, so there is no question. You don't question anything. You're not questioning that something happened to you, because your brain doesn't think anything happened to you. It's something will have to be completely off, or something screwed up, or because your brain is not going to know it. 99.9% of all abductions that happen today go unchecked, because nobody knows it's happening. It's simply that easy, because the way they do it now, they take you. There is no memories. There's no marks left behind. There's no things like in the old days when they flip-flop your underwear or put the wrong wife back. They've done stuff like that. They had a couple. The wife from New York they put in California, and the wife in California they put in New York in the middle of the night. And when they both woke up, the one lady woke up like 6 a.m, flipping out, screaming because the guy next to her wasn't her husband. So she's on the phone calling California, because she's calling her house in California. And some woman answers the phone in bed, and they start flipping out. It's a great case, it really is, and it's you can't debunk it, because there's no flights anywhere. There's no we know what time they went to bed. We know where they were at. We know what they were doing, and we know what time the contact happened. There's no way they could have got from LA to New York. They got to bed at that one time. So unless somebody else was flying.
Yeah, even with a private airplane, you can't do it in that time. The big airplanes, it takes them a minimum back then 7 hours, I think, just to go from DC to New York, or from New York to Los Angeles.
If you're gonna rent the SO-71, you could have probably got there in about 3 hours. It's but even that wouldn't have been fast. So you get these kind of cases. They're just crazy. Like the girls who switched underwear, and the only reason they knew is because one of the girl had just came back. She was a scout leader, and she had just come back with her thing. So all her underwear and bras had her name written and her address. So the girl and so she woke up that morning, these little purple underwear and this OKSAK, whatever the shirt was, that's a city in Japan. And the girl in Japan woke up in a pair of underwear and a T-shirt. I think it was a Mickey Mouse T-shirt. No, it's a Minnie Mouse T-shirt. And a pair of underwears that had somebody else's name and phone number on it.
Yeah. My favorite one is the one in New York. Was it an ambassador or a senator?
It was an ambassador from the U.S. to the
sees
UN.
the abduction from the ground, someone being abducted from a building, taken out of the building by a UFO, and then being put back in.
Yeah, it was him and 2 Secret Service agents. Eventually, the 2 agents went batshit crazy.
Yes,
they just went batshit crazy. But yeah, they witnessed the entire thing. This guy had a pretty high clearance. He said it's just like nothing he had ever seen before. And then the government.
It was in broad daylight too. I mean, it was the middle of the day.
Yeah, and it was just weird that he was even looking up to see it. It was just weird that he even looked up to see it. But so you get cases like these that you get good witnesses on, or you get good cases that prove it. The problem is ET is very weird. They definitely got their own agendas. And I tell this to people all the time. You have to judge them like you do everything else. You have to judge them by their actions. Not by anything else but their actions. They come to your house in the middle of the night, they take your ass and do things to you, and they put you back. Okay, that's not exactly the best action to start off with. Even though the contact you may not remember, even though it may be another pleasant experience down the line, they still take you against your will. No matter how you look at it.
In most other societies, it would be considered a crime.
And a lot of contactees like to tell me, "Oh, we made a deal on the other side."
Right? Yeah, we signed up for it. Yeah.
No, we ain't signed up for it. You get abducted. You get abducted. Everybody in this planet gets abducted for the same reason. Somewhere way, way, way back in the past, they started abducting people. Those original family lines, those how many ever they were, generate all the contactees that are here today. Those family lines. Whether it was 500, 5,000, I couldn't tell you. But there was those original family lines. There had to be a few of them because it totals 1.5 billion people today. So there had to be a few of them out there, and which is also, a good chunk of our population. Jim, RH negative is very weird because even though O negative is 6.9%, it's actually the rarest blood because it can only take its own blood. So an O negative person can only take O negative, but everybody else can take O negative blood. So if you're any other blood type, in those 8 blood types, you can use RH negative from an O negative person to survive. It's the universal donor. It's also the purest form of blood known to man. It's where all of our hematological research comes from. And it doesn't even supposed to exist. Science can't even tell you where it came from. Science, I work, matter of fact, on the ICRO website at ICRO.com, at ICRO1.com. You can look at all the charts and all the stuff we did, all the research. We worked with 3 hematologists, 3 world famous hematologists, actually, because they found this whole thing fascinating, that there was actually a correlation of blood types versus contactees. So, contact blood RH negative is 15% of the world's population. Contactees are 15% of the world's population. Very coincidental. But more so than that, 65% of all contactees that have been questioned, maybe even 68%, are RH negative. And the world population is 85% Rh negative. So that's a big skew. There's something weird going on. It's almost like the Greys and reptilians and humans are looking for the Rh negative. And there are differences. There are different people. I mean, Rh negative isn't supposed to exist because it kills babies. In the old days, you used to have to get a blood test just to get married because you could kill you. You have a stillborn baby because you and your wife had different Rh factors. Now there's a shot you can get when they find that out to keep your baby from being stillborn. But Mother Nature don't create things that kill babies. Not it's a part of you they know anyway. Somebody gave us this blood type. And it's a good thing they did too. It's probably what saved us through 2 wars.
Well, yeah, also, but I mean, I think we were having, how many years was it that they had to test you to make sure that you were compatible with your spouse, so you wouldn't be, killing babies?
Well, no, it was simple. If you were, I think if the mom was negative, the dad was, if the mom was positive, dad was negative, the mom would kill the baby. And her DNA would go after the baby and kill it. If they were, if it was the other way around, it would. But for some reason, if it was that way, it would kill it. So some guy in Australia had some gene they found, and I never pronounce it right, but it's the anti-dendrogen T gene. They give you a shot now, and it tricks the antibodies into believing that everybody's all kosher. We're all playing on the same team. But it's strange because, and I mean, personality traits are different amongst Rh negative versus Rh positive people. Telepathic abilities are stronger amongst Rh negative people. They're more empathic, they're more telepathic. And they're a small segment of the population, but yet there seems to be more telepaths inside that population than inside the other. Look at that ugly thing. That thing's ugly, man.
Yeah, that's Natasha.
That's a damn alien, man. And they're hiding itself, making you think it's a cat. It's a gray alien, no less. Look at it.
It is a gray alien, yeah.
Jimmy, so first off, I know we got to get out of here pretty soon, but first off, grays are not gray. They're not like you. They're not the Hollywood gray we see. Well, because the best I can explain this is they feed through their skin, so they usually eat this. We call it blue plasma. We don't know what the hell it is, but it's really like it's electrical cobalt blue. And it's the same stuff they use to immerse humans in when they're recovering from stuff that they've done to them. They can immerse into the thing and it just regenerates the body and the mind. It's a great product. It's also fuel for the ships and it creates itself, which is extraordinary.
Yeah, it's like the sarcophagus in Stargate.
It's insane the way this stuff is. But when humans talk about it, they talk about it like it's a super gift anytime they can get themselves into it. They said it heals anything that's wrong with the body. The longer you stay into it, you feel just rejuvenated when you get out. Sounds like a cortisone shot on steroids. Yeah, Jimmy, it's weird. But the only reason we found out about it is we used to get all these contactees that would write to us and say, "Oh, I remember this weird blue color. Or I remember this real blue color." Well, we thought it was the aliens because the aliens are blue, but that's not what they were talking about. They were talking about this plasma. But the aliens absorb this plasma through their skin as a form of food. So when they do, it makes them this shiny, weird colored blue. So that's how you know if you've actually seen a real alien. Now
they also excrete their excrement through the skin at the same time. So that's why the change in color.
And if they haven't eaten in a few days or maybe a week or two, they get this translucent with it, almost white, but it does kind of make them gray too. So it gives them like a whitish grayish color. And I think that's where people get the gray from. And the black things are not their eyes. It's just a patch. It's not an eyes behind me. Their eyes are big, but they're not that big. They're like about double the size of ours.
It's a protective coating that Colonel Philip Corso wrote about in his book. Basically, this thing gave us. Now we already had the contact lens at that time, but what this contact lens gave us was corrected vision, night vision, heads-up display, and the obvious UV protection from the sun.
It's no telling what else we probably maybe we got our infrared technologies from.
Probably that too. Yes, infrared. I mean, night vision. Everything came from those lenses.
Starlight probably all came from there.
Yes.
Well, because it was just a lens that could do multiple. It could see because obviously the grays, the light on our planet is too bright for them.
Basically, it's like getting an eyeglass that always is the correct prescription for your eye. So as your eyes degenerate, these lenses help you see. So it's kind of like a smart glass, but not only is it a smart glass, it's a smart prescription glass.
It's definitely different. Jimmy, what do you mean? I don't know when they came. I'd have to look. I imagine in the 1800s or something. You're talking about contacts, right? Maybe early 1900s, late 1800s. Well, glasses have been around for 300 years.
Yeah, I think bifocals probably started around because Franklin had them somewhere in the 1800s, 1890s, 1880s, 1850s, something like that. But the thing about lenses, glasses, and contact lenses is they don't stop the digression, the digression of your eyes. So if you have myopia and it gets worse every year, every year you go to the doctor, you get another prescription lens that until you can see. They don't stop it, they don't repair it, and they don't reverse it. So it's kind of strange.
It's weird. No, we got to go, but we're going to invite Michael back. We only gave him a little bit of time to talk to me. So it's you know how it is when we bring these young kids on like this. This guy's like 25 or something. They bite me. No, I can't curse in this shit, so you're lucky. Stuff don't.
Yeah, this is a G show. You can come back on Friday where we can really get into it.
Well, I've been hosting the show almost 30 years. I've only ever slipped up and cursed on it like 3 times. And that's all in the last year. That's because we curse on the other shows.
We've done it a few times. We forget where we are.
It's no, really. We'll bring you back in a couple of weeks. We got I got to see where they're booking Steven back, and then I got there's 3 other people I'm talking to. Matter of fact, I was talking with Jeffrey about on this Friday night show, guys. We're gonna be running a special segment on Rumble with Jeffrey Pritchett. It's a group he works with. So yes, so there'll be like 3 posts for us on Rumble. That's just an experiment.
Yeah, thanks guys for letting me hang out with you tonight. I really appreciate it, Joe and Jay.
No. Anytime. Like I said, we'll get you. Do me a favor, in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just hit me with an email, say don't forget me, and then I'll get your book then.
Very well.
I'm not sure what's the next 3, but I know we got 3. We're gonna be doing contactees or experiences for the next few weeks. So it'll be easy to squeeze you back in. And then, and then we get you talk a little bit more about some more experiences. I know people are interested. They were asking questions. What's it, Jesse? We just like to talk to guests and get to know them. Anybody who's known this show for any length of time knows I usually bring in a guest and just get to know who they are. And then the second time we talk to them, we get a little deeper. And the third time, we get pretty damn deep. Well, that way, by then, the guest is used to us and they're comfortable. And they don't mind bearing your soul as much. This is a tricky show. You can forget sometimes. I've had many big name hosts tell me this, big name guests tell me, Joe, you're a dangerous son of a biscuit eater. And I'm like, why? He said, because I forget sometimes I'm not on the phone with you. I'm actually doing a live show. Some of them will say shit that they're not supposed to say. I've had several big ufologists message, so I was like, that's saying shit. I said, no, I'll go edit it. Just call them. Man, I can't edit it live. When we're live, we're live. Like right now, say something, it's out there. But anyway, guys and girls, we've got to go. Michael, anything you want to tell the audience before we leave? Anywhere you want to send them or?
I'm just a Facebook guy. You can find me if you look up James Michael Walker. I also have a UFO private group that I created about 8 years ago, and just recently I became part of skywatchersnational.org, and we're just a experiencer support group and research. I'm just proud to be part of something in its initial phase. So yeah, check us out on skywatchersnational.org, And find me on Facebook. I've got tons of different stuff going on. I got Ophinum Energy page where I describe a lot of my biblical accurate angel stuff. It's a art and craft page. I have my group, and I have my Paranormal Fridays, about 11,000 followers on my Paranormal Fridays page. So yeah, I'm just a Facebook guy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they, we all. We've got. I've lost count now. I think we got 44 social media pages. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Some of them are nice size. Some of them are small. Like the Icra page, I think is 8,000 or 9,000 people. The contactee page is probably just, but they're all contactees. There's only about 2,000 or 3,000 people. And now the UFO Undercover page is 40,000. Some websites 40,000. United Public Radio is about 60,000. It's and then we got other pages that are a couple of hundred. It's just crazy. It's spread out all over. And we're also on LinkedIn and X and Twitter. And Rumble is nice. I like Rumble. Rumble is put the herd on YouTube. I like YouTube, but YouTube is a little restrictive these days. Not like they used to be, but they still are a little restrictive. But we got to go. I'm sure Michelle's giving us the bird finger at the moment.
Yeah, we're 6 minutes into her stuff now.
Yeah, she's actually talking now. There's no more music playing or anything. She's talking. So we're cutting into our audience. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can reach Mike on Facebook. Just tracking down his full names up there for y'all tracking down. Of course, if you have any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, feel free to write to the boss. It's Michelle DeMarcio. She loves to hear from you. Just say Jay did it, and she'll understand.
Especially if I wasn't here, I would definitely want involved.
Yeah. Actually, if you want to cause some shit, say Sean did.
Yeah.
Blame it on Sean. Yeah. Oh man, there'd be some trouble. Sean is a regular host of the network. He hosts with Jay and I on Friday and Saturday, and he hosts himself on Tuesdays and Sundays. Yeah, he hosts into the night. Yeah. It's a pretty good show. You check it out. And he's been with us for a couple of years, man. Jimmy, I gotta go, but listen. So you can talk to me about getting on the network. You can talk to Michelle about getting on the network. There's a couple of things. There are free shows. There are shows to pay for. There's also television. We offer Roku and Fire Stick and Apple, Samsung, and OSI television, Google television. So you can actually be on real television on this network with us. Those prices vary depending on how long you've been here, what size your audience is. As far as overall radio time on the network, if you got exercise audience, it probably won't cost you anything. If you don't, shows start anywhere. For an hour show usually starts around $75 to $100 and goes up. And it all depends on what you want. If you want to be produced and hand taken care and all your shit done and everything added in while you're live and stuff, that costs money. Because it takes time for somebody to sit there and produce the show. If you just want us to start you and finish you and you handle everything in between, that's a whole different thing. So, you get a show as cheap as $35. I mean, network as cheap as $35. It's just where do you want to be? And slots are different. I mean, if you want to be, say, like tonight, when I get off air, Michelle's on right now. Michelle finishes. These two shows combined have listened audiences close to 9 million people. So that means whoever follows her show has a potential listening audience of 9 million people. So yeah, we just don't give those slots for free. Let's just be honest about it. I'm gonna hand you over 9 million. This is you're either gonna have to be generating some money or paying some money. But no, there are lots of different slots, but a lot of them are also filled too. So anyway, on that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio. I hope you enjoyed the show. Jay and I and Sean will be back Wednesday. Got a lot of news to get over.
Friday. This is
Friday.
Wednesday.
Sorry, Friday. We'll be back on Friday, so y'all come check us out. No, bring your own topic Saturday. Yeah. Anytime, even Mike and anybody who wants to come to the show on Saturday. It's a 3-hour show. You don't have to be there for the whole show, but we tell people, you want to talk about something, come to the show, bring a topic. We do talk about aliens and UFOs, and then we talk about paranormal. But we also talk politics. We talk food. There's no topic we won't talk about on that show. And
it's the Seinfeld of chat shows. We don't have a topic.
And considering it's the highest rating the network has, which is NA, which means it has no rating. I'm just saying, if you're easily offended, don't go. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way because Sean's going to offend you for sure. When he starts that
Especially
pole
when he does
dance,
his super nasty pole dance.
I know, man. That thing is God. Nothing like seeing a guy naked, man. That's just hard.
63-year-old man dancing on a pole, yeah, brass pole naked, yeah.
With his little gold thing, because he binds some gold, so he uses his little gold. Anyway, hope he's not listening because he's gonna hurt both of us. Anyway, we gotta go. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Be sure to check us out on Friday night. Do some flip stuff. Good night.